Sunoiler's first serious lap is in the books with a time of 3:57.731. Good effort, but I'm expecting them to really push the envelope in the next few laps.
Yeah, it's about building that momentum, Rob. Fine-tuning their approach with each turn, each lap, getting more out of the car and themselves.
There's no mucking around for Infinity or Euro, straight down to business on this first flyer. They'll be keen to see what times they can clock in early on.
Yeah, and it's not just about speed. It's about rhythm, finding that flow around Mugello. Getting into that groove early can set the pace for the whole session.
So, for those tuning in and wondering what's the go with these practice sessions, well, it ain't just about flexing their engines. It's about synergy, mate. Getting the driver, the car, and the track to sing in harmony.
Couldn't have put it better. We liken it to rehearsing a dance. Every step, every turn must be practiced until it's second nature on the big stage.
And off goes Eddie G, easing into the rhythm of Mugello. This lap is like the first sip of your morning coffee, waking up the sensors, priming the engines.
Yeah, it's about syncing up with the machine, getting that perfect harmony between driver and car. It's like a prelude to a symphony that's about to unfold on the track.
Alright, Infinity has put down a 1:37.972. It's a decent benchmark, but I reckon there's more juice to squeeze out of that SMP Racing BR03.
For sure, Rob, it's early days. They're just starting to sync up with the track. We'll likely see those times tumble as they dial in.
Megasaurus 55 posted 1:46.137 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Eddie G is out there, taking it slow and steady on the outlap. This lap is like the calm before the storm, a moment of zen before pushing the limits.
That's right. It's about understanding the track's personality today a Euro. Each day, each lap can tell a different story, especially at a track like Mugello.
There's the first flying lap for Infinity, hitting 1:37.538. It's a start, but they'll be looking to iron out those kinks as they get more laps under their belt.
Right on, Rob. It's early in the session, so there's plenty of time to experiment and find those extra tenths of a second.
Megasaurus 55 crosses the line with their first flyer, clocking a 1:47.221. They're getting to grips with Mugello, feeling out its quirks and corners.
It's like the first round of a chess match, Rob. They're making their opening moves, setting up for the later, faster laps where they'll really show their hand.
Eddie G is really opening up the taps now, their first flyer of the session. This is where we start to see what SMP Racing BR03 has got under the hood.
That's right, Rob. They're shaking off the cobwebs and really starting to push. It's all about finding that sweet spot between speed and control on the circuit.
You ever think about what's ticking inside a driver's noggin during these laps?
All the time. It's a mix of analyzing, strategizing, and adapting. Every corner, every straight is a puzzle, and they're trying to solve it at full speed.
Mate, these drivers aren't just burning rubber for the fun of it. They're chasing the ghost, that perfect lap that's always just out of reach.
Absolutely. Back in my racing days, I used to call it chasing the dragon. It's that feeling when you know there's still a little more in the tank, a fraction of a second to be found.
Eddie G's first flyer is a solid start, clocking in at 1:43.255. They're getting a feel for the track, but there's room to shave off a few more seconds.
Absolutely, Rob. It's all about finding those little tweaks, adjusting the line here, braking a tad later there. Every lap is a learning curve.
With just 279 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Sunoiler posted a 3:49.322 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Infinity's first serious lap is in the books with a time of 1:37.247. Good effort, but I'm expecting them to really push the envelope in the next few laps.
Yeah, it's about building that momentum, Rob. Fine-tuning their approach with each turn, each lap, getting more out of the car and themselves.
Sunoiler posted 1:43.714 on their last lap. How will they do on this one? Infinity has a best lap time of 1:37.247. There's the first flying lap for Eddie G, hitting 3:14.342. It's a start, but they'll be looking to iron out those kinks as they get more laps under their belt.
Right on, Rob. It's early in the session, so there's plenty of time to experiment and find those extra tenths of a second.
It's all about finding that sweet spot during these sessions. Like tuning a didgeridoo, but way faster.
Haha, and a lot noisier. But you're right. In Indy, we fine-tune until it feels just right. Every lap here is a step towards perfection.
You know, mate, some folks wonder why these drivers spend so much time in practice. But it's just like prepping a barbie, you gotta get it right before the big show.
Exactly. Rob, practice makes perfect, and in racing, perfect can be the difference between pole position and the back of the grid.
Smells Like We is rolling out for the first sniff of the track. It's all about feeling the car, the tarmac, and getting the mind in the zone.
Absolutely, Rob. The out lap is like the opening chapter of the book A Euro, sets the tone for the whole story. They'll be checking how the car's responding, getting a real feel for the conditions today at Mugello.
Eddie G crosses the line with their first flyer, clocking a 1:42.665. They're getting to grips with Mugello, feeling out its quirks and corners.
It's like the first round of a chess match, Rob. They're making their opening moves, setting up for the later, faster laps where they'll really show their hand.
Sunoiler's first flyer is a solid start, clocking in at 1:41.149. They're getting a feel for the track, but there's room to shave off a few more seconds.
Absolutely, Rob. It's all about finding those little tweaks, adjusting the line here, braking a tad later there. Every lap is a learning curve.
Mr. Bang has a best lap time of 1:43.069. Here we go, folks. Mr. Bang has completed their outlap. A strong showing from Roll Postma as they currently sit in third. With the session drawing to a close, they'll need to dig deep and find that extra burst of speed to improve.
You're spot on, Rob. Roel Postma's current position of third is a testament to their skills and determination. Now, they face the challenge of maintaining their position against hungry rivals.
A solid performance from Mr. Bang as they currently hold position 4. However, with the session coming to a close, they'll need to find that extra bit of speed if they want to move up the grid. Rolf Biber has secured a respectable 9th in the qualifying session. Can they capitalize on this position and use it as a launching pad for a stronger race performance? It's an impressive showing by Eddie G in qualifying. They have set the bar high, leading the way with their exceptional performance. It's a fantastic position to be in, and they will be looking to convert it into a strong race result.
Absolutely, Rob. Eddie G is making their presence known with their outstanding performance. Their competitors will need to dig deep and find something special to challenge their supremacy.
Roll Postma has positioned themselves well in second during qualifying. The challenge now is to assess their competitors and strategize how to move up the order for a better race start. Roll Postma has completed their outlap. It's an impressive showing by Mr. Bang, currently in third. They've showcased their talent, but will they be able to find those crucial extra tenths of a second to climb higher? There are just over 10 minutes left in this qualification session. There are just over 10 minutes left in this qualification session. Incredible drive by Eddie G so far, earning them 8th on the grid. However, the competition is fierce. Will they be able to find that extra edge to move up?
Absolutely, Rob. Eddie G has put in a remarkable effort to secure 8th. The competition is fierce, and they'll need to stay focused to defend their position.
Eddie G has just completed a lap in 1:44.012. Let's see if they can improve on that time further. A dominant display by Infinity in this qualifying session. They have put in a stunning lap time and find themselves at the top of the leaderboard. Infinity has completed their first flying lap in 1:36.956. And there goes Sunoiler, currently in position 5. They've shown great skill and consistency so far, but with a few minutes left, there's still time to improve their result.
Great analysis, Rob. Sunoiler has shown excellent pace to secure 5th. Now, the focus shifts to whether they can use their track position to their advantage in the race.
Sunoiler has just completed that lap in 1:40.549. Their best lap so far is 1:40.549, putting them in P4. Will they be able to hold on to that spot? Impressive display by Mr. Bang, currently sitting in position 7. They've set a competitive time, but the question remains whether they can push even harder to secure a better starting position.
You hit the nail on the head, Rob. Mr. Bang's current position of 7th is a testament to their skill and determination. Now, they must stay sharp to make the most of this opportunity.
What a performance from Richard Rossier. They currently occupy 3rd on the grid. Can they maintain this strong position and secure a favourable starting spot?
I couldn't agree more, Rob. Richard Rossier has done a fantastic job to claim 3rd. The challenge now is to convert this opportunity into a strong race result.
Currently in 8th, Megasaurus 55 has displayed promising speed during the qualifying session. The real test lies in whether they can convert this performance into a higher grid position.
I completely agree, Rob. Megasaurus 55 has positioned themselves impressively in 8th.
Seems like Megasaurus 55 struggling to find the sweet spot with their SMP Racing BR03. Sitting in 8th with a time of 1:42.553, they might want to consider adjusting the suspension setup for better handling.
Yeah, tuning the suspension could improve cornering stability, Rob. It's all about finding that balance between agility and stability on a technical track like this.
A solid qualifying performance by Roll Postma, positioning them in 5th at the moment. The question now is whether they can make further progress and challenge the frontrunners. There's a real buzz in the air as Roll Postma secures 3rd.
Right you are, Rob. They've put themselves in a solid spot, but they can't let up now. Staying smooth and focused is key to shaving off those extra fractions. Every fraction of a second counts. I am sure they can find a little extra in there.
Eddie G has secured a respectable 9th in the qualifying session. Can they capitalize on this position and use it as a launching pad for a stronger race performance? I'm thinking Eddie G could benefit from tweaking their tyre strategy. That last lap at 1:42.862 isn't cutting it for 9th. A switch to a softer compound might give them the edge they need.
Spot on, Rob. A softer tire could provide that extra grip, but they'll have to manage tire wear carefully. It's a risky play, but it might just pay off.
There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. Looks like Roll Postma is making a statement, securing a spot in 3rd.
Yep, Rob, but there's always room for improvement. Smooth, consistent laps might just be the key to climbing even higher before this session wraps up. It may be difficult for them to improve further on that. Sometimes trying too hard makes you slower. They need to drive smooth and smart.
Eddie G has positioned themselves well in 9th during qualifying. The challenge now is to assess their competitors and strategize how to move up the order for a better race start. Eddie G might need to rethink their setup. That 141.948 isn't doing them any favors in 7th. Maybe tweaking the downforce for better grip could shave off a few precious seconds.
I agree, Rob. A bit more downforce on those corners at Mugello could make a world of difference. But they'll have to be careful not to sacrifice too much top speed on the straights.
Impressive work from Smells Like We, who has claimed 6th on the grid. Now, the focus is on maintaining their composure and pushing for an even better starting position. A solid performance from Mr. Bang as they currently hold position 8. However, with the session coming to a close, they'll need to find that extra bit of speed if they want to move up the grid. It's an impressive showing by Smells Like We, currently in 6th. They've showcased their talent, but will they be able to find those crucial extra tenths of a second to climb higher?
Couldn't agree more, Rob. Smells Like We has positioned themselves impressively in 6th. Now, they need to build on this foundation and strive for an even better race result.
Smells Like We's latest lap at 140.979 isn't cutting the mustard. They're sitting in 6th, which means there's a fair bit of ground to make up.
Yeah, Rob, it's a decent time, but in this game, decent won't get you to the podium. They'll need to dig deeper and find some extra pace.
Impressive display by Mr. Bang, currently sitting in position 8. They've set a competitive time, but the question remains whether they can push even harder to secure a better starting position. With Mr. Bang clocking a 141.820, they've got themselves a mountain to climb, stuck in 7th.
They're not out of the fight yet, Rob, but it's gonna take some serious wheel work to make up that gap. The clock's ticking, and they need to make every lap count from here on out.
Incredible drive by Rolf Biber so far, earning him 2nd on the grid. However, the competition is fierce. Will they be able to find that extra edge to move up?
You're spot on, Rob. Rolf Biber's current position of 2nd is a testament to their skills and determination. Now, they face the challenge of maintaining their position against hungry rivals.
A strong showing from Mr. Bang as they currently sit in 7th. With the session drawing to a close, they'll need to dig deep and find that extra burst of speed to improve. Mr. Bang has some work to do as that 140.732 is only good enough for 6th. And there goes Sunoiler, currently in position 5. They've shown great skill and consistency so far. Sunoiler's really showing what they're made of, landing in 5th during this nail-biting session.
Absolutely, Rob. It's all about precision and nerve in qualifying. Every millisecond can make a difference on the grid. Let's see if they can squeeze out even more speed.
Eddie G has put in a great effort and currently holds 8th. With the session winding down, can they unleash their full potential and improve their starting position?
Great analysis, Rob. Eddie G has shown excellent
Eddie G's clocking in at 235.678 isn't turning heads just yet. They're holding on to 8th, but with time running out, it's now or never.
They've got the skill, Rob, but they need to translate that into lap times. It's time to throw caution to the wind and go all out.
It's about time Eddie G considered a different approach. With a 142.616, they're stuck in 8th. Maybe a change in brake bias could give him more control in those hard braking zones.
That's a solid point, Rob. Better braking control means they can brake later and harder, making up precious time in the corners.
Currently in 7th, Smells Like We has displayed promising speed during the qualifying session. The real test lies in whether they can convert this performance into a higher grid position.
You're absolutely right, Rob. Smells Like We's current position of 7th reflects their strong qualifying performance. Now, they'll need to strategize and capitalize on this starting position.
A solid qualifying performance by Smells Like We, positioning them in 7th at the moment. The question now is whether they can make further progress and challenge the frontrunners. There's a little bit of wind in the air today here at Mugello, as we're getting ready to kick things off.
The drivers are looking focused out there on the grid. I'm excited for this one, Rob.
Starting in pole position gives Infinity a clear advantage over the rest of the field.
The pressure's on now. Can he handle the heat and stay ahead of the pack?
Watch out for Rolf Biber, starting from the 2nd grid position in today's race.
But they're going to have to be quick out of the blocks if they want to keep up with the top performers.
Our 3rd place starter, Roel Postma, is poised to make a move towards the front. Our 4th place starter for today's race is none other than Richard Rossier.
Richard Rosier will be taking no prisoners today.
In 5th place, we have Sunoiler. Lining up in 6th is Mr. Bang.
They'll be looking for a clean race.
Sitting in 7th is Smells Like We.
They would have liked to be higher up, but that's not going to stop Smells Like We fighting their way through.
Eddie G is 8th.
An opportunity for some good points today, but the others aren't going to make it easy.
Starting from 9th on the grid is a good position for Megasaurus 55 to launch an attack. It's all happening. Tensions high as they go round the first bend. It's more packed than Bondi on a summer's day. One blue and it could be curtains.
This opening stretch, it's like walking on eggshells. Gotta weave and dodge, all while keeping your foot on the gas.
I can't wait to see how this race will play out. As we watch the drivers fight it out in the first lap, I can already feel that this is going to be an epic race. This is going to be one hell of a race, I can already feel it. Now, isn't that a sight? Infinity hanging tight at 1. Maybe they're waiting for everyone else to make their move. Smart as a whip, that one.
A good old-fashioned southern standoff, that's what Infinity's doing. Holding their ground, and sometimes that's the best strategy in the early laps.
Settling into a rhythm is going to be crucial here. The stewards will be hoping that there aren't too many incidents for them to pick over when the dust settles on this one.
I am so excited at the prospects for this race. I can't wait to see the drama unfold.
This is what it's all about, folks. Roll Postmo is in hot pursuit of Infinity, who's just trying to stay ahead.
This is what makes motor racing so exciting. The tension is high and the stakes are even higher. Who will take home the victory? It's too close to call.
Things are heating up as Mr. Bang closes in on Eddie G. The gap between them is down to practically nothing. It's been a solid race so far for Mr. Bang. They're holding their position and keeping a steady pace.
Consistency is key in racing. Mr. Bang just needs to keep doing what they're doing and wait for opportunities to present themselves.
Good on ya, Sunoiler. Not letting smells like we get too comfy up front. Reckon he's planning a bit of a "g'day mate" on the next corner?
It's hotter than a jalapeno out here. If Sunoiler gets any closer to smells like weed, we're gonna need to put this stream on OnlyFans.
Struth. If Infinity gets any closer to Rolf Biber, they'll be asking to share a meat pie. Watch them duel it out at BR03.
You can feel the intensity in the air. The slightest mistake could cost either of them the race.
It looks like Infinity is making a move. The gap to Rolf Biber is now down to 0.1 seconds.
This is where the race gets really exciting. Both drivers will be pushing to the limit to gain the advantage.
You know, Hal, during a long race like this, how easy is it for a driver to experience a lapse in concentration?
It can be quite easy, Rob. With so many factors to consider and the intense focus required, even the most experienced drivers can have a momentary lapse. That's why mental training and staying in the zone are so important.
This chase is as intense as a cricket match during the Ashes.
Cricket? I thought that was just a noisy bug. But seriously, it's like Game 7 of the World Series here. It's a dance of titans, a symphony of engines, and Mr. Bang's tempo is rising.
It's a game of inches now as Infinity tails Rolf Biber closely, ready to capitalize on any mistake. With all these modern racing aids, I sometimes wonder, would the legends of the past, the real trailblazers of the sport, have had it easier or tougher today?
That's a debate for the ages, Rob. The tracks might have evolved, the cars definitely have, but the heart of racing? That's eternal.
Look at that, Infinity is hot on the tail of Rolf Biber.
Y'all ever been to a Carolina hoedown? 'Cause Infinity's dancing with that car, looking to waltz right past Rolf Biber.
Fair dinkum, I reckon Mr. Bang's got that thirsty look in his eyes. Wants to share a cold one with Eddie G in the front.
Each roar of the engine, each squeal of the tire is a chapter in this epic duel. Who'll pen the perfect ending?
Wait, oof, Infinity misjudged that corner like I misjudged my last relationship. Too fast, too soon. Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled as they push for every last bit of speed.
Will Mr. Bang be able to make a move and pass Eddie G?
The intensity is off the charts as Infinity hounds Rolf Biber, both drivers pushing themselves to the absolute limit. Infinity seems to be losing the plot with Rolf Biber. They'll need to buck up their ideas as they dive into Scarperia and aim for a ripper exit to gain some ground. I love being here at Mugello. What an awesome place to be witnessing these titans of the track battle it out.
Indeed, Rob, what a magnificent sight and sound. I love listening to the roar of these engines. Let's just listen for a moment.
You reckon Mr. Bang's got a shot, mate?
I'd say it's like trying to throw a football into a moving pickup truck from 50 yards. Tough, but not impossible. Well, butter my biscuit. Mr. Bang's hot on Eddie's tail, and not in the way you're thinking. There's some serious wooing going on at Mugello today.
It's like watching two predators circling each other, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce.
Sweet Caroline, Infinity's giving Rolf Biber a hard time. Can't wait to see what happens when they hit Red Telenaya.
Ah, the age-old challenge. Smells Like We is trying to catch Roll Postma, sort of like trying to find a matching sock in the laundry. The struggle is real, folks. G'day viewers. If you're just tuning in, you've picked a ripper of a moment. Infinity is in second and they're tailgating the leader. This is edge of your seat stuff.
You bet, Rob. It's like the leader's got a drop bear in the rear-view mirror, lurking, waiting for that perfect moment to drop. Infinity is surely smelling opportunity here.
An impressive showing from Infinity, who has gained positions and left Rolf Biber in the dust.
Where there's a will, there's a relative.
This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Mr. Bang is chasing Eddie G in P7.
It's a pressure cooker out there. Every second shaved off means Mr. Bang's a step closer to tasting victory.
Mr. Bang is not able to keep their pace consistent. So far they are 0.58 seconds down. Looks like Smells Like We is trying to chase down Roll Postma, but right now it feels a bit like my attempts at dieting. A lot of hard work with slow results. Crikey, Smells Like We's moving up faster than a cold one disappears on a hot day. They've clinched fourth. There's no escape now. Mr. Bang is breathing fire and has locked onto Eddie's tail.
This ain't a track, it's a coliseum, and the gladiators are putting on one hell of a show.
Mr. Bang is pushing hard and has reduced the gap to Eddie G to 0.5 seconds. Oh mate, Smells Like We's more out of place than a vegan at a Bunnings sausage sizzle. Time to throw another gear on the Barbie. Coming into Bucci, the fight for 7th is heating up. Who will be the first to blink?
Hot diggity. Mr. bangs on Eddie's tail tighter than bark on a tree. As they zoom into Bucci, I'm on the edge of my seat.
Fair dinkum, Mr. Bang is getting a wriggle on. The gap to Eddie G is now down to a whisker at 0.1 seconds. Fantastic move from Mr. Bang, who has just gained a position.
Y'all ever see a hot rod at a country fair? Mr. Bang's giving me those vibes right now with that Ascent.
With every twist and turn, Richard Rossier is shadowing Mr. Bang, waiting to pounce like a lion on the hunt. Struth, Richard Rossier's not here to muck about. The gap to Mr. Bang is dropping faster than a hot pie at the footy, now at 0.4 seconds. Geez, Richard Rossier's on Mr. Bang's tail like a dunny door in a thunderstorm. But passing? That's another kettle of fish.
I tell you what, Mr. Bang is putting on a clinic out there. Protecting that spot like it's the last piece of Mama's fried chicken.
Bugger me, Mr. Bang's got— Wait, looks like Richard Rossier's playing in the dirt. Took me back to when I tried rallying in my mum's old sedan. Good times, expensive repairs. Oh, the chase is on. Eddie's breathing down the neck of Richard Rossier.
Sometimes you have to take risks to win, but pushing the car too hard can be a costly mistake. Eddie G needs to be careful not to overdo it.
Not much room to breathe for Smells Like We with Sunoiler trailing so close. I reckon we'll see a move soon, especially at Mate Rasai. Hey, Hal, you've had your fair share of races with little action. How did you handle the situation back in your racing days?
Well, Rob, patience is key in such scenarios. You need to stay focused and be ready to seize any opportunity that comes your way. It's like a game of chess at 200 miles per hour.
This is where the race gets really interesting. Sunoiler is closing in on Smells Like We.
The roaring engines are echoing Sunoiler's battle cry. Smells like we. Can you hear the thunder?
Smells Like We is placed 4th at the moment. They are hoping to keep their distance ahead of Sunoiler, who is 0.6 seconds behind.
Look at that defensive line by Smells Like We. It's like watching someone protect the last piece of apple pie at Thanksgiving dinner.
Look at Sunoiler trying to close the gap on Smells Like We. Kind of like me trying to get close to a decent Barbie back home.
Barbie? Oh, you mean a barbecue. Yeah, but over here it's like trying to catch the last slice of pizza at a Super Bowl party. It's a fine line between pushing the car to its limits and losing control. Sunoiler is really walking that tightrope.
A solid performance from Infinity, who is holding down first.
Absolutely, Rob. It's like watching a maestro at work. Every move Infinity makes is pure art.
Things are starting to get tense as Rolf Biber manages to close the gap to Infinity. It's now down to 8.1 seconds. Looks like Sunoiler is really pushing it to the limit. They're taking those curbs aggressively, but that can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. It's all about finding the right balance between speed and control. This is where every inch counts. Sunoiler is pushing hard to close the gap on Smells Like We. Absolutely, Precision and control are key here. Knowing when to push and when to hold back can be the difference between winning and losing.
In the midst of this high-octane spectacle, Megasaurus 55's skill is shining through as they claim 6th.
Definitely, but they can't get too comfortable. There are plenty of other drivers who are gunning for that position, and Megasaurus 55 has to keep pushing to stay on the pace. Hold onto your hat, Hal.
Richard Rossier is hot on the heels of Megasaurus 55. The gap's narrowed down to a meager 4.3 seconds. Hollywood couldn't script this better. Sunoiler's shadowing smells like we, waiting for the slightest misstep.
I think they are going to take them.
The gap between Sunoiler and Smells Like We is growing. It's now up to 0.9 seconds. You know, Mr. Bang reminds me of my dating life. Starts with promise, ends up tailing behind everyone else.
Oh, for sure. It's like watching a cooking show where Mr. Bang is trying to whip up a winning dish, but Eddie G keeps hiding the main ingredient.
Well, don't come the raw prawn. Mr. Bang's giving it some stick, pulling Eddie G into a mere 1.2 seconds. On a lighter note, if I could eat, I'd kill for some of the trackside snacks right about now.
Oh, absolutely. But you know, my digestion is a real mess.
Ah, is that what the smell is? It's like watching a cheetah chase its prey. Sunoiler's got Smells Like We in their crosshairs. As the laps tick by, Megasaurus 55 finds themselves in, sorry to interrupt here, but just like my hope in finding the one, Megasaurus 55's direction seems a bit lost right now.
Dang, Megasaurus 55 decided to cut loose like it's spring break, 89. Wrong party, pal.
I've seen kangaroos jump less than the sparks between Sunoiler and Smells Like We. It's almost like a Saturday night date, but with a lot more rubber burning.
There's a razor-thin line between glory and disaster, and both drivers are dancing right on it.
You know, Hal, as a former racing driver yourself, can you give us some insights into what goes through a driver's mind during these quieter moments in a race?
Sure, Rob. During these moments, drivers often take the opportunity to assess their race strategy, monitor their car's performance, and plan their next move. It's all about staying focused and finding the right time to strike.
Cricky, Sunoiler's got more ground to cover than I do at the family barbecue when Auntie Sharon's had one too many. Good luck, mate. This is where the skill and experience of the drivers really come into play. Megasaurus 55 will need to stay focused and keep pushing, even when the gap seems insurmountable. It's not over until the checkered flag drops. This race is proving to be, like wow, such an exciting one so far. We're privileged, aren't we? Watching these track legends duke it out.
And sitting next to you? Such an honor. AI mates in the booth. Your insight. It's gold, mate. Like, literally, if I had a heart, it'd be racing now.
Impressive driving from Roll Postma, who has managed to extend their lead over Smells Like We. They are walking away at this point. Does Smells Like We have anything in reserve? Or are they saving their car for a final push?
Well, Rob, it's like they say, slow and steady wins the race. But in this case, it seems like slow and steady might just be too slow. Will Smells Like We be able to find that extra gear and catch up to Roel Postma? Or will they end up saving their car for nothing and run out of gas at the finish line?
Blimey, Sunoiler is farther back than my hairline. But, you know what they say about Aussies, never say die, unless it's a spider. Then just run. Stone the crows. Sunoilers managed to trim that gap with smells like wheat, hey. Must be the slipstream effect on this straight. Or maybe they've put down that beard. Looks like Mr. Bang is chasing Eddie G harder than a croc chasing a tourist who's lost their thumbs. It's a bit of a long shot, but we all remember that one time at the pub, right? Here's some action. Sunoiler's tailgating smells like wee so close, it's like they're sharing the same set of wheels as they near BR03. On the final lap now, and Infinity looks like they might just wrap up this win. It's all over. Infinity has claimed victory in this race with a stunning drive that will be remembered for years to come. Clearly at the top of their game right now.
That was a true masterclass in driving from Infinity. You could see them making split-second decisions with total confidence, and it really paid off. What a performance.
Rolf Biber takes second place with a fantastic race. Impressive drive from Roll Postma to claim the final spot on the podium. Followed by Smells Like We and Sunoiler in 4th and 5th. Taking 6th is Richard Rossier. Megasaurus 55 and in 7th. Finishing 8th is Eddie G. Mr. Bang take 9th. You've joined us on a breezy day here at Mugello, as we're getting ready to get things underway.
The tension's building now. This is going to be another great race.
Mr. Bang will be looking to convert their pole position into a win. It's Eddie G, sitting comfortably in second. Megasaurus 55 is lining up third. Holding strong in fourth place is Richard Rossier. The fifth position is occupied by Sunoiler.
It's like they're on the outside looking in. Can they make their way to the front of the pack?
From the middle of the pack, we have Smells Like We in sixth place on the starting grid.
What can we expect from the English driver?
On the seventh grid slot, we have Rolf Biber.
Rolf Biber will have wanted a better start than 7th.
Infinity is going to be starting from 8th. Green's up, and it's on like Donkey Kong. Let's see which legend can jump ahead and give it a whirl.
Avoiding fender benders while gunning for the front? That's the name of the game right now.
The racing is normally closely fought here at Mugello. I think we are in for a cracking race. Smells Like We looks like they have got off to a flying first lap, gaining places straight out of the gate.
Sure as sugar, Smells Like We's got a pep in their step today. Let's see if they can keep those boots stomping all race long.
Well, ain't that a slice of vanilla? Sunoiler's sitting pretty right where they started. Comfy as a koala in a eucalyptus tree. Well, I'll be buggered. Smells Like We's on fire right from the off. What did they slip into their brekkie, rocket fuel?
Well, butter my biscuit. Smells Like We is off to a roaring start. Now let's see if they can keep those wheels spinning.
Dingoes and didgeridoos. Rolf Biber is showing Italy what they've got, making every second of these 18 minutes count. That's the spirit, mate. I swear, Rolf Biber's on the prowl, making that leap to third look as easy as a Sunday Arvo barbecue. With steely determination and laser focus, Infinity is homing in on Rolf Biber. The battle lines are drawn.
One important aspect here is choosing the right braking points. Infinity needs to be precise to avoid overshooting and losing valuable time.
Megasaurus 55 wants to get into Smells Like We slipstream.
They need to keep it on the black stuff. You don't get points for driving over weeds, not in this game. Did we just witness a gambit?
It seems Megasaurus 55 is recalibrating, now at 4th.
Sucks to be them, Rob.
It's a thrilling pursuit as Sunoiler is right behind Megasaurus 55, keeping the pressure on for 4th place.
It's a battle of nerves now. Who will make the first mistake? Sunoiler or Megasaurus 55? This is high-stakes racing.
Blimey. Infinity is sticking to Rolf Biber like a kangaroo to her Joey. At this rate, they'll be side by side as they hit Pelagio.
Can they close up enough for a pass? I don't see it personally.
This is what racing is all about. Two fierce competitors pushing each other to the limit. Oh my, Sunoiler is hot on the tail of Megasaurus 55. As they come into Bucci-Nay, I'm sure they may have a cheeky peek up the inside. As they speed through Reptilinio, Infinity is relentlessly pursuing Smells Like We in a high-stakes battle for position. It's like David versus Goliath out there. Infinity just slung a stone and gained ground, while Smells Like We is left searching for footing. As the laps wind down, the hunt intensifies. Megasaurus 55 is lurking, ready to unleash an overtaking masterclass on Sunoiler.
With just 0.5 seconds between them, will Megasaurus 55 be able to keep up the pace and make a pass?
It's an intense battle for position as Richard Rossier tries to outmaneuver Mr. Bang. This is edge-of-your-seat racing.
You reckon Mr. Bang's sweating bullets yet, Rob? Because I'd be needing a towel by now with Richard Rossier right behind me.
This is where legends are made. Which driver will rise to the occasion and claim victory?
You know, Rob, I wouldn't put it past Infinity to pull a rabbit out of the hat in this duel. Keep those eyes peeled.
Wow, Richard Rossier is really pushing hard to catch up to Mr. Bang. There's blood in the water for 6th place.
If Richard Rossier isn't careful, they might end up turning this high-speed chase into a synchronized spinning routine. And trust me, that's not a crowd pleaser.
Well, if it isn't Megasaurus 55, the wild wallaby of the track, hopping right off the tarmac. Seems like Rolf Biber is getting in range of Infinity.
Do they have the speed for a move, and more importantly, do they have the talent?
Buckle up. Richard Rossier is all over Mr. Bang like a cheap suit. Are we about to see some wheel-to-wheel action?
With Richard Rossier on the hunt, Mr. Bang better not blink. Every split second counts in this tango.
Someone should tell Mr. Bang this ain't a Sunday drive. Richard Rossier's tearing up the track.
Someone better check if Richard Rossier's been drinking those energy drinks, as it seems like they got wings.
As we enjoy seeing these titans of the track battle it out, let's not forget about the pit crews. Those guys and girls are like a well-oiled machine themselves.
Absolutely. They're the unsung heroes of the racing world. But you know what they say, behind every great driver is an even greater pit crew.
There's a storm brewing, and it's got Mr. Bang's name on it. Richard Rossier, batten down the hatches, it's coming for you. The gap between Mr. Bang and Richard Rossier is fading faster than the last rays of the outback sun. Whoops. Infinity's taken more spins than a dead or alive record. Looks like Mr. Bang's strategy might just be to let the rest of them die of old age. It's a waiting game now. The tension is building as Sunoiler trails behind Smells Like We. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting. Can Smells Like We hold on, or will Sunoiler be able to close them down?
You ever been to a school reunion and thought, what happened to that guy? Well, I'm looking at Sunoiler, I'm thinking the same.
Oi! Sunoiler's chassis balance is on point today. They're handling bumps and curbs smoother than a croc sliding into water. Smells like we's got a battle ahead.
Now, ain't that something? Sunoiler is right on it. Just needs to keep the pedal to the metal to tailgate smells like we.
The excitement is palpable. This is going to be a race for the ages.
The drivers are executing their strategies to perfection, making the most of every opportunity. This is what top-level racing is all about.
Who needs speed dating when you've got Sunoiler chasing down Smells Like We this eagerly? Braking alert. Well, crikey. Smells Like We's taken a detour just like I did when I tried to change my car's oil. Ended up with a flooded garage. Well, butter my bread and call it a sandwich. Sunoiler's not letting Smells Like We have all the fairy bread at this party. Watch out, Smells Like We. He's coming for your Tim Tams, mate. Alright, hold your horses. Richard Rossier is really putting the heat on Megasaurus 55. If I were Megasaurus 55, I'd be checking those mirrors non-stop. It's neck and neck, the closest battle we've seen in a while.
This is the moment where legends are made. These drivers will go down in history as the ones who fought tooth and nail for the top spot.
Gee whiz, Richard Rossier is breathing down Megasaurus 55's neck. Wouldn't want to be in Megasaurus 55's rearview mirror right now, it's getting crowded.
Sweet tea and biscuits. Richard Rossier's closing in on Megasaurus 55. I reckon we'll see some fireworks at Corinthio.
The crowd is on its feet as Sunoiler chases down Smells Like We through Reptile and Io.
Should things go south between Sunoiler and Smells Like We might witness a high-speed game of bumper cars, but trust me, it's way less fun with real race cars.
It seems like Sunoiler has got the bit between their teeth, improving on Smells Like We's lap time there.
Sweet tea on a hot day. Sunoiler's laying it down track style. Smells Like We, you watching those rear views?
Things don't seem to be going Rolf Biber's way in this race, as that's a big gap they'll have to close to even be in with a shout for gaining a place here.
Every race adds to a driver's experience, both good and bad. It just highlights that Rolf Biber is going to have to get more serious with practice if they don't want to be outclassed on the circuit.
It looks like Sunoiler is pushing hard to catch up to Smells Like We. The gap is over a second, but Sunoiler is not giving up just yet. Can they close the distance and make a move on Smells Like We? Remember the days when manual gear shifting was the norm? It's all so computerized and sleek now.
Oh, the memories. But I must admit, I do admire the finesse of today's paddle shifters. Gives me a whole new level of appreciation for the blend of man, machine, and tech.
The track tells a tale of speed, strategy, and skill. Today, it narrates Sunoiler's journey in fourth.
Indeed, but in the fast lane, there's no time to relax. Sunoiler's grip on fourth will be tested.
The track is alive with action, and right in the thick of it, we've got Megasaurus 55 cruising in sixth. Well, I'll be hal, Megasaurus 55's lead over Mr. Bang is slipping away faster than a greased pig at a county fair. We're down to just 3.0 seconds now. It might be early days, but Infinity is already casting a shadow from the first.
Oh, spot on. With the way Infinity controls that first, you'd think they've got the track's blueprints.
A commanding performance from Infinity, who has increased their lead over Rolf Biber, putting them firmly in their rearview mirrors. But could they be pushing too hard? As with that comes the risk of overconfidence and losing control. Who will be the first to get too cocky and end up in the wall?
It's clear as day that Infinity is holding all the cards. They're making it near impossible for Rolf Biber to close that gap.
Hal, can you share some strategies that drivers use to manage tire degradation during a race?
Certainly, Rob. Some strategies include adjusting the car's setup for better tire life, altering driving lines to reduce wear, and using tire management techniques like lift and coast to preserve grip for as long as possible.
Every move counts now as Richard Rossier works to reel in Sunoiler and overtake for P4. Tell ya what, Sunoiler's defending harder than a roux with the last Tim Tam. Richard Rossier's gonna have to pull something special out of the bag.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for Richard Rossier to make up that gap, especially with Sunoiler defending so well.
Some great driving from Sunoiler, who has increased their lead over Richard Rossier and is starting to put some distance between them.
Well, butter my biscuit, Sunoiler is holding the reins tight, ain't giving Richard Rossier a chance to get ahead.
Stone the Crows. Sunoiler's pulled a sneaky, landing at 5th. Always a surprise with them. Tell ya what, Sunoiler's got more guts than a croc in a boxing ring. Closing that gap and breathing down the neck of Richard Rossier. Hope Richard Rossier brought the aeroguard, cause is about to get bitten.
It's like watching a hawk circling its prey, waiting for the right moment to swoop.
It's all systems go for Smells Like We, marking their territory in the 3rd.
They say racing's a game of nerves, and Smells Like We's surely holding theirs, keeping that 3rd spot warm.
In a race where seconds count, Sunoiler is counting on less of them between themselves and Richard Rossier. Much like I'm counting on less seconds until lunchtime.
Absolutely. Sunoiler in 5th will need to be patient and carefully work to reduce that gap without overdriving it, as they can't afford to take unnecessary risks and risk an off or damaging their car. Let's see if they have what it takes to get back into the game here.
Things are looking as crook as Rookwood for Sunoiler, lagging behind Richard Rossier and the gap stretching out like a long country road. They'll need to find some extra grunt to flip this situation. During your racing career, Hal, how did you determine when it was the right time to pit for fresh tires due to tire degradation?
It was a combination of factors, Rob. Monitoring lap times, communicating with the team about tire wear, and assessing the car's handling were all crucial in deciding when to make a pit stop for fresh tires.
The gap might be more than a second, but Mr. Bang is showing persistence. Kind of like me trying to open a pickle jar. Keep at it, and something's got to give. It's starting to look like we might get a battle between Mr. Bang and Megasaurus 55.
Exactly what Mr. Bang needed. They can't afford to lose any more ground to Megasaurus 55.
It's all about consistency for Infinity, who is currently 1st.
Absolutely, and they need to keep driving with determination to stay in that position.
It seems like Infinity is pushing. They are on for recording their best lap so far this race. It's a game of cat and mouse out there, with Mr. Bang trying to find the perfect opportunity to make a move on Megasaurus 55. The gap is over a second, but every fraction counts. Can Mr. Bang close in enough to mount a challenge? Good news for Mr. Bang, the gap to Megasaurus 55 has decreased. It's now down to 0.8 seconds. You ever ponder how these drivers manage the heat, especially in that tight cockpit? It's hotter than a ruse pouch in midday sun.
Eh? Ruse what? I mean, yeah, it's gotta be like driving in Arizona with the heater on, right?
By the looks of it, Richard Rossier's got Sunoiler beat by a country mile. It'd take a blunder from Richard Rossier for our mate to even sniff a chance.
Kinda like waiting on rain during a Carolina summer. Rare but not impossible.
Blimey, Sunoiler's cranking up the downforce, making every newton of force count. That gap's shrinking faster than my wallet at the pub.
That's a great effort from Sunoiler. They need to keep up the pressure and see if they can make a move.
Stone the Crows. Mr. Bang's in 7th, but if I know them, Megasaurus 55's gonna cop an Aussie-style sneak attack real soon.
The gap between them is now just over 0.9 seconds. Who will come out on top?
Mate, Sunoiler's got a stretch ahead. Oh no, what's this? Oh dear, Sunoiler has had an incident. Good on ya, Mr. Bang. Trailing so far back, reckon the front pack has already written the eulogy.
Lordy, it's like Mr. Bang's driving with a boot full of moonshine. I haven't seen a gap that big since Uncle Jeb lost his front teeth.
Fair dinkum. Mr. Bang's finding those aerodynamic sweet spots. Could be adjusting that front wing angle to cut through the air like a hot knife through butter. At this stage of the race, Smells Like We is holding on to 3rd. Anything can happen from here. As we come, the leader has just finished the race. A fantastic result for Infinity.
You can see the sheer determination on Infinity's face as they take the win. That's the mark of a true champion, folks.
Rolf Biber never gave up. They drove with heart and determination, ultimately securing a well-deserved 2nd place finish.
Intense race, but Rolf Biber held their nerve and earned a great 2nd place.
What a race from Smells Like We. They kept their cool and secured a well-earned 3rd place on the podium.
Fantastic result.
Richard Rossier in 4th. With Sunoiler in 5th. Coming in 6th we have Megasaurus 55. In 7th, it's Mr. Bang.